Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Platypus is the name. And first thing you're going to notice is, yes, I did not change my background. I'm too lazy for that. But what we can do, look at that. This is just an unreleased character for Dislyte. Welcome to my first Dislyte video. So, what am I going to talk about in this one? I think for a first video, I'm just going to go over a few of the 3-star units that I think are very powerful that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. Everyone's always like, is this 4-star good? Is this 4-star good? Is this 5-star good? Whoa. But I think it would be fun to go through and look at some of the 3 stars that most people have, the ones that I think are the most powerful, or at least out of the ones that I've have. A couple things to keep in mind. One, my goal is to be a free-to-play account and to be the strongest free-to-play account in the game. Am I there? I have no idea. I know that there was like a beta or whatever, and people have been playing for a year plus potentially. So no, I'm not at that level. But as far as global release, I think that, you know, that's a title that I'm going to try to go for. So this being a free-to-play account, you're not going to see many poll videos. I apologize. You might see some every now and then if I save up stuff, but like I have done like 20-30 polls, but I cared more about clearing content than making a one-of poll video. I'm just gonna hold this stuff for now, you know, but anyway, we are playing this on BlueStacks right now. I play both on BlueStacks and phone. If you have any questions about the game, let me know. But first, we're gonna go over 3 3-star units. That's a catchy title. 3 3-star units you missed. Oh, and we're not talking about this guy, all right? We're not talking about Drew Anubis. And not because he's not good, it's because everyone has him. I think everyone kind of knows how good he is. Sorry, I'm clicking things all over the place.
Let me organize that.
I think everyone kind of knows how good he is. First character I'm gonna go with, and you know what, we'll go with characters that I think are generally good, and then we'll kind of mix it up a little bit. You might be a little bit of a spoiler here because you can see what my strong units are. First is going to be Tang Yoon. Now, I hope I said that right. The six-eared person, okay? This character feels nuts. I think they might be the strongest 3-star character in the game, and it's all because of just how their kit works together. So we'll go through their abilities really quick. Increases ally attack 18%. You're not gonna probably ever use them as a captain, like ever, unless you are. I don't know. There might be a mechanic where you need to use weak captains in the future, but you're gonna use something better. Still though, here you can see I've been leveling up his abilities. Iron Polearm. You know what? Let's start with his ultimate. Avatara. Attack an enemy 3 times. It's kind of a cool animation. He creates 2 clones and they just come in. He just starts Naruto jutsuing the fuck out of their faces. Go smack. I like it. Attacks an enemy 3 times, each dealing damage equal to 85 up to 100% of attack. So at level level 5, this does 300% attack damage straight up. That's just good hits. If a critical hit is triggered, then he uses Iron Polearm to trigger a pursuit on the target. Iron Polearm is his first ability. So when you use this, if any of these 3 attacks get a crit, which if you're building him with crit chance, it's very likely, then you're going to follow up with your basic attack, which is very, very good. We're going to go deeper. A second ability here, or middle ability, Talisman of Inward Delivery. I never read any of these abilities. I just know what their symbols do. Attack an enemy 2 times, each attack dealing 110%. So this is 220. This is as good as Anubis. It's pretty good. Ignores 40%. I think the ignores enemy defense is the awakened ability, which I have. But it ignores 40% of enemy defense and has a 50% chance of Iron Polearm to trigger pursuit. So this one has a 50% of the time you're going to follow up with your Iron Polearm. So this one's going to be almost 100% and it's more damage. This one's going to be about 50, you know, exactly 50% of the time. And then you're going to follow up with this, and this does 130% of attack damage to an enemy with a 30% chance of inflicting stun for 1 turn. And a 30% chance of triggering a pursuit through Iron Polearm. So this attack can trigger off of itself. So you can get, this guy's a slot machine. And even the low payouts are pretty good, but the high payouts are insane. You can hit this with this, hits 3 times, right? And then you follow up with Iron Polearm, and then Iron Polearm, and then Iron Polearm. Obviously, it's a 1 in 3 chance each time, so it gets way less likely. But I've had to go off Iron Polearm 3 times in a row after using this ultimate, and he just one-shot the thing, right? He's go up, smack it hard, smack, and then frequently I'll have him, he'll smack it, and he'll follow up with Iron Polearm, and then he'll smack it once, and then he'll smack it a second time, and it'll stun or something, or one of the 2 hits will have stunned, right? So very, very, very powerful 3-star unit. I definitely think people should be paying attention to this unit for sure. There's definitely worse 3 star units, you know, like you're probably going to want to be using it over good old David here. No offense, David. I think he might be pretty trash. And now, there's probably going to be a 3-star unit or 2 that I don't include in my video because I just don't have it yet. And I want to talk from experience, not from just things I've read online. But I know there's like a support unit that has like an attack defense up that should be really good. That should probably be on here, but I don't have it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Number 2, though, Chalmers. Now, this guy I just think of as like Cable, basically, from like Deadpool, right? He just, to me, seems like a time-traveling, gun-wielding cool guy. Oh, sorry. As for building, you're going to want to go with crit chance, right? I'm not, my equipment is not very good right now, but I do think bonus crit rate is pretty good, and then I'm just doing flat damage. It's kind of hard to, I'm not far enough in my account where I could really be picky and choosy about what I use. It could be a good idea to use, you know, Hydra, right? Just to heal shit. I think it's called Hydra. Is that what it's called? The sets, is it the Hydra set? Hades. That Hades set is pretty good overall. Probably even better for most DPS characters because the 30% damage is good, but being able to heal to full after every attack is pretty much better. But we're gonna move on to this guy. This guy has this insane kit. I don't think he's as universally good here. This character I think is just universally good. We're gonna get more niche as we go down. And I know that it says more, they're 3-star units. I've just leveled them up. So very first, deals damage to a target equal to 100% of attack plus an extra 3% of their max HP. Now the amount of the extra damage can exceed 100% of his attack. So this means against big fat bosses, he's going to be hitting for 200% attack on his basic. That's very good. Even this guy, he has to get the chain. He only has a 30% chance to trigger that. You know, but then he could go more, and then he does more on that 30%. But for a basic ability, that's pretty darn good, right? You don't need to do any. It does take 5% of his HP, but that's like fine. Who cares, you know? So I love this ability, but his abilities all get better here. And we're gonna read the Ascension. We're gonna read the Ascension version because I do think these 3 stars are not too hard to ascend, so you should probably be working on it. So his Ascend ability. So first, attacks enemy twice, each dealing damage equal to 7% of attack with a 40% chance of inflicting disease for 2 turns. So this attack's bad, but when you ascend it, attacks the enemy twice, each dealing 70% of attack. With the 40% chance of diseased, that sucks. If the target's HP ceiling is higher than this character's, then each strike deals an extra damage equal to 3% of the target's maximum HP. So it's twice as good as your initial attack. So this can be hitting for 370% while doing diseased. And diseased, this also doesn't take any HP. The other 2 attacks that he has do take HP. So this one is HP free. And also the diseased is just good. It prevents them from healing. Most bosses aren't healing, but I mean, there are probably definitely some that do. And again, this guy's for bosses, right? You're not going to be using him in PvP, all right? So keep in mind, percentage of HP, right? You want things with big HP pools. Big HP pools come from bosses. His final ability, which might be my favorite, deals damage to a target equal to 100% of attack plus an extra 10% of the target's max HP. So 10% instead of 3%. Huge step up. It cost him 50% of his current HP, so you're taking down half of his current life bar. Now, the lower your life is, the lower this cost is, but still the closer to dead you are. So Vampire is probably really, really good on this guy. The amount of extra damage cannot exceed 300% of the attack. So this could hit for 400%, and buff blocker for 2 turns. Buff blocker is big. I'm sure it's bigger on some bosses than others, but buffs are huge in this game. So being able to just block that is fantastic. No wonder it takes half his HP. Like, it's very, very good. Captain ability we don't care about. So 10% bonus damage of their HP, you know, 3% 2 times, 3% once. Just all good stuff. I think if you even look here, I mean, I have this on, but you're going to want the lifesteal because he is using his life to generate this power. And honestly, the level up here aren't that good. You want level 5, so you want the cooldown reduction, but the increased damage, 20% damage, and HP deduction aren't that important because it's capped by your own attack, you know? So it's a combination of their HP and your attack that's the damage. So I don't think it's like this guy's as important to put skill points into. The trigger chance 60% is kind of nice, but again, it's like whatever. And this is kind of whatever. I don't even think you really need to level up this guy's abilities because he has that flat scaling. So this is going to be what you're taking into your fights against, like I think this guy might be S plus tier in like the ritual miracles and the sonic miracles. Not every single one, but a lot of them. But definitely like, right, this guy here, because he's also one of the things I didn't even mention is that he's a prism, right? He's a glimmer, I think is what it's called in this game. He's got no element, right? So he never gets advantages, but he never has weaknesses, which is most important. You don't want to be missing with this guy or having like your effects debuff. You just want him to be doing exactly what he does to every unit in the game. So he's good in basically every situation. I'm sure there's specific boss fights that he's not great in, but for the most part, this guy is definitely worth your time. As for level 3, this one is going to be the most fringe yet, I think. I've got a soft spot for this guy, honestly, mostly because I like just how fast he is, but honestly, he's a DILF, right? But I'm gonna go with, this is tough, I should have decided before I created the video. You know what, I gotta go with my personal man here. Now this is the most situational of the units I've shown, and one of the most situational units in the game. In fact, I think there's probably a lot of content this guy doesn't excel in. However, this is a game of having lots of units leveled up for different fights. So this guy, I think, is one of the best at what he does. I think he could definitely be top tier in a specific fight, like Kronos or something like that, right? Something where he could use his advantage to fight these red guys, or fire. I think it's element based. So what does he do? He's got this passive. It's kind of whatever. Transfers 1 debuff from himself onto the enemy before he attacks. Is that cool? I don't know. He never gets a debuff on him, so it's like fine. It's not bad for sure, and it does do it before he attacks. So if it's something that affects, I don't know, accuracy, I assume that's a thing, because we have an accuracy stat up here. Keep clicking on the wrong thing. You know, he would, maybe there isn't even an accuracy stat. Maybe I'm high. Yeah, here he is. So you know, so he won't miss. He'll do that. You know, he'll transfer the poison that he has on him. So it's like decent, but I found it very situational. His other ability, Cold Hearted, also kind of whatever. 120% damage with a 60% chance of dealing disease. Not a very good attack. Even if you get here, you want to get up to level 6, right? Trigger chance increased to 100%. Like, that's pretty good. You're always going to disease the target. That's nice, mostly because it's a debuff. And it, you know, it prevents healing, but this is kind of a lackluster attack for sure. 140% damage is nice, but not great. Really what you're here for is Deadly Sear. This is just a big old nuke, and this guy has really, really high attack as well. So it's a single target, big nuke that inflicts Sear, which also increases the damage they receive by 25%. So you're gonna hit them really hard, and then everything that comes after him is also gonna hit for 25% more damage. Very good, but it gets even better because again, I think these ascensions are not too bad. Here, let's even do this. Boom, let's go. I just haven't had the I didn't have a chance to farm these yet, but I will. But right here, this is if the enemy, this attack gets a 100%, well, this attack is 100% more likely to trigger a crit if the target is affected by any debuffs. So this guy crits, this ability, if you have a debuff on it, is basically going to crit all the time, assuming you have the, you know, the gear. The way it's worded, I don't think this means it's a 100% crit. I think it means it doubles your current crit. So there, I haven't experimented with it because I don't have it. So either it's a guaranteed crit, which is insane, on a 300% attack that also debuffs them to deal more damage, or it will double your crit chance, which is what it sounds like to me, which is still going to bring it up to like 50% even in the early stages of the game, right? Like mine's currently only 12% because I don't have that ability, so I haven't really built for that. All right, I've been just building for damage. But so that's a very, very good ability, and I actually really like it. I'm excited to get that some of these things awakened so I can start experimenting with it. If it's 100% crit chance, it's insane. If it's double your crit rate, that's pretty good. It's not incredible, but I actually do like his ability here. Crit rate up 15%. I know there's got to be higher star units with just a better version of this, but this is the only unit I think I have in the game with that ability right now, with the basic crit up. Anyway, yeah, I'm going through the process of leveling these characters. You know, give me a break. I've had the game downloaded for 24 hours. All right, I'm working on it. I'm just trying to put out some content to let people know the things that I found good early on. I think this guy gets a lot of hate. I think this guy is better than people think. This guy is like at the bottom of every tier list. But I think Uncaged Beast is like insane. Deals damage equal to 40% of max HP to a target and inflicts Devour. I assume bosses must be immune to this or something, right? Because dealing 14% is huge. He's also 20 years old. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much. A little bit longer than I thought, but I went into a little more depth than I thought. I am probably gonna do a show and tell on my account after a week, just kind of showing, hey, what do you get free to play after a week? You know, you can see I got I got 1 6-star, 2 6-stars.
If you've got a problem,
you know, and I got things being leveled up, feel good. And I didn't even spend, you know, the thing that I want to spend on, but I'm not going to because I want to keep the integrity. Integrity is a bad word, but I kind of want to buy this, right? It's 99 cents and you get a fucking 4-star. And then you get the monthly off the thing. But see, like, once you buy that, oh, then I got to buy that. And then I got to, and I just want to keep it completely free to play. I think being the best, not the best, being the most powerful PvP player would be great. Because, yeah, then you get 40% off this, right? Like, what is it, like $2? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you so much. For platypuses per platypus. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you hate this video and don't want to see me ever again, also let me know. It's not going to change my decision to make videos, but at least it's fun to know that someone out there hates me. Peace.